Jurors will return to the courtroom in just a few days. We look at the changes officials are making to keep everyone safe. A week after being admitted to the hospital, President Trump could be back on the campaign trail as Democrats prepare a bill that could decide whether a president is physically fit to take office. Well, the growing outbreak in the NFL could force the league to pause the season. New case reported this morning, and what the league's chief medical officer said about the matter. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Well, jury service begins today with jury trials scheduled for next week. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell shows us why some defense attorneys believe this pandemic will also have an impact on the jury pool.
Jury duty service begins today after more than 7 months. COVID-19 has changed a lot of the ways that the courts operate. Some lawyers believe this could also affect the way a jury is picked fairly. COVID-19 concerns have changed many aspects of the courts, from added safety precautions to changing to virtual court. What's also changed is jury duty. Pre-pandemic, there are usually 350 to 400 people that get called in as jurors at the central courthouse downtown. Now, that has been reduced to 18 to 20% of the usual capacity to allow for proper social distancing. And just as before, jurors do have the option to delay their service based on a number of factors, including financial reasons, being a caretaker, or having a physical or mental condition.
The kinds of options that were previously available now have new options, both with respect to vulnerable conditions, age groups that are vulnerable, things of that nature. So it's a whole new world.
And some defense attorneys say COVID-19 concerns could impact the jury pool that's available, with people opting to postpone their service.
A jury of your peers, which represents a cross-section of the society, racially, ethnic, gender-wise diversified, in terms of age and demographics, is hugely important.
Just one of the many challenges the courts will have to deal with, as they're already facing a backlog of cases and many changes connected to COVID-19.
So everybody's been kind of in limbo. People need to get things resolved, both criminal defendants and civil litigants, and people going through family court and things of that nature. So it's really created just a horrific situation for so many people.
The jurors that have been called in to report will show up here on Tuesday, which is when the jury trials are scheduled to begin. Reporting from downtown, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Officials say of the jurors that were summoned this week, nearly 40% have either postponed their service or have been excused from jury duty. Researchers continue to race for a vaccine against the coronavirus, and now a large vaccine trial is set to start in San Diego next week after getting delayed. These 8 trailers set up in El Toyon Park in National City will soon become the study site for the Janssen vaccine clinical trial being put on by Johnson & Johnson. They're looking to enroll participants around the world. Dr. Susan Little is a UCSD professor of medicine and the principal investigator for this trial. She says it will determine the safety and the efficacy of the vaccine.
Does it reduce the frequency of COVID infection overall, or the severity of COVID infection among study participants?
Although the trial is open to all San Diegans who qualify, she says the focus will be on recruiting South Bay residents since communities of color have been hit harder by the virus. Well, this weekend, SDSU is preparing to welcome a small number of students back on campus starting Monday. University president emailed details out to students. Many of the classes that will resume in person are those deemed necessary for those students to graduate. Students who will be on campus are required to get a COVID test every 14 days. Cal State system has also expanded SDSU's ability to enforce policies such as wearing a mask. Here are the latest local numbers. The county reporting 291 new cases, bringing our total to 49,400. And there were also 6 new deaths reported, bringing that total to 819. President Trump getting ready to get back on the campaign trail as soon as tomorrow, just a week after he went to the hospital for coronavirus treatment. Well, this comes as Democrats unveil a new bill to assess whether a president is fit for office. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
A week after he revealed his COVID-19 diagnosis, President Trump is insisting he's well enough to get back on the campaign trail.
We want to do a rally in Florida, probably in Florida on Saturday night. Might come back and do one in Pennsylvania in the following night, and it's incredible what's going on. I feel so good.
The president clearing his throat multiple times during a nearly 30-minute interview on Fox News Thursday.
Absentee is okay because absentee ballots, excuse me.
The White House physician, Dr. Sean Conley, issuing a short statement Thursday night, giving the president the all clear to resume his public engagements as soon as Saturday. But Conley has previously made false statements about Trump's treatment, and there remain serious questions about the commander-in-chief's health, like when Trump last tested negative for COVID.
What can't the White House say when so look, we've addressed this. We're not asking to go back through a bunch of records and look backwards.
When was the president's last negative test? I can't reveal that at this time. The doctors would like to keep it private since it says private.
Before the president got sick, the White House would disclose his COVID test results. Trump now suggesting he could have been infected by Gold Star families at a White House ceremony, even though none of the families say they tested positive beforehand or have reported any symptoms since. With at least 34 recent COVID cases linked to the White House, according to an internal government document obtained by ABC News, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he has stayed away from the complex for more than 2 months, citing the administration's lax coronavirus safety protocols. House Democrats Friday unveiling a bill that would create a commission to examine whether the president is fit for office, invoking the 25th Amendment.
This is not about President Trump. He will face the judgment of the voters. But he shows the need for us to create a process for future presidents.
Congress isn't currently in session, so that bill is largely viewed as a political statement. The White House press secretary calling the legislation absurd. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
The NFL season could be in jeopardy. Multiple teams are dealing with coronavirus outbreaks, including the New York Jets, who announced today one player testing positive. Tennessee Titans haven't played in nearly 2 weeks. Their game last week was postponed after 23 people tested positive for the virus. They're expected to host the Buffalo Bills on Tuesday after not reporting any new positive tests this morning. Meanwhile, the Broncos and Patriots game was rescheduled to Monday after several Patriots tested positive as well. And the NFL's chief medical officer told NFL Network that the league is considering pausing the season because of the rising cases. However, he did say the league only has about 83 positive cases from more than 400,000 tests. Well, new at 11, the city of San Diego has a proposal on the table to transform 2 vacant properties into permanent housing. City-owned properties are located in Serra Mesa and Scripps Ranch. It will house veterans, seniors, and people experiencing homelessness. The proposal will provide 26 units at the former Serra Mesa Library and transform the Scripps Ranch Park and ride into 60 units for veterans and seniors. Well, once again, a monster storm taking aim at the Gulf Coast, and right now, southwest Louisiana bracing for Hurricane Delta. It's gaining strength, could make landfall later today as a Category 2 or 3, likely packing more than 100-mile-per-hour winds, along with a storm surge that could be as high as 11 feet in some places. Protective blue tarps are still clinging to homes as this relentless hurricane season seemingly won't let up. Mayor of Lake Charles says that more people have evacuated from this hurricane compared to Hurricane Laura from just 6 weeks ago. Well, the Padres season has come to an end. They lost 12-3 against the Dodgers last night, and now the team is focusing on their future.
We turned a big corner, and that's really the big thing here is we were able to really figure out how to win ball games and really turn the organization around.
We know what we're going to be capable of next 6 or 7 years. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, fans want to hear that. Things didn't go as planned, of course, last night. It was still a special year for the Padres. Team ended their playoff drought after 14 years, and last weekend fans celebrated the team's first playoff series win in more than 20 years. And we'll see what the team has in store next year. Fernando Tatis Jr. tweeting out to the Friar faithful overnight, quote, "I promise you, this is just the beginning." Very cool. Well,